this is the trick, you see. Don't do an intro. Just talk, and then just make that as your intro. That's what I do. I hate it. That's why I hate intros.
Is that the push the point special?
Yeah. Well, that's what we do. When we did the very first one, we were like, "Oh, hi everyone. My name is Hamish, and this is Simon, and this is Dan." And when we did that, I was like, "Oh God, this is crazy." So when I did an edit for episode 2, I was like, "Oh, this is weird." I just cut the whole thing out and just started as we were just talking. Cool. And then I made the feel of people just walked into the room and you're hearing some guys talking.
Well,
and then the intro, yeah.
I was gonna say I've already hit record, so let's just do it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. This is Ask for Pass, Time in the Round, episode 26 with Hamish Chisholm Brown. Is that right? Is that how I said your name right there, Chisholm?
Wow, you're the first person. Yeah, not many people get that right.
Welcome. Thanks for coming on. Hamish is, you're 1/3 of Push the Point, which is the UK's premier Flesh and Blood podcast. I don't know if that's what you guys call yourself. That's what I'm calling you now.
Oh wow, thank you.
It's good to have you with us. Thanks for coming on.
No, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm a huge fan of your work, so it's a massive honor to finally, or to just be invited onto this awesome podcast. It's great. Thank you.
Yeah, so you've had Brendan on the Push the Point podcast not too long ago, right? I listened to that. Brendan didn't say too many bad words about me, which is surprising because it usually takes any opportunity you can get to throw some slander my way. But no, love what you guys do. Obviously, you've been podcasting for how long now for Push the Point?
Well, for Push the Point, I think we kicked off around about April time, and that was kind of around about the same sort of time you guys kicked off as well.
Yeah, so
we're like April this year.
Yeah. I was going to say about the same amount of time. We're like the transatlantic partnership where Brendan's concerned.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the work you guys have put in is just phenomenal. Like the amount of content and different sort of stuff you can deliver to the audience is just was just heads and toes more than what we were able to throw out there. So when it was kicking off and you were just putting all this stuff on, I was like, geez, man. And now we had this discussion going, do we need to do this? And then we got to the decision when we're like, me and Simon have got kids, man. There's no way I can get up to do as much as you guys can do. But at the same time, it's great. I think it's absolutely amazing that we've got a team such as yourselves that is just being able to push and deliver as much as you can do. For us, our focus is just gone, well, we want to make sure that we can deliver the episodes on the podcast every other week. And we're just going to target this towards the UK scene because, it was one of those things that just came up where didn't really see much of a UK presence in podcast form. Yeah. And we just want to make sure we can deliver on that. And if anyone else wants to jump in, that's great.
Yeah, if you think about the timeline when you started, it's pretty funny, right? You've your podcast from where it started and where it is now, in terms of Flesh and Blood's life, is probably the most dynamic and just weird time that will ever exist in the game, right? You started your podcast during COVID, no competitive events. We were all spiking online skirmishes back then, and now we have a full-fledged pro system coming out in 2022, and we're coming off the back of a calling season, 4 callings in a row. So it's kind of wild, right? How has that felt, adapting your content from where we were 8 months ago to where we are now, right?
It was kind of weird, really. I suppose everyone's got their own unique journey on why they decide they're going to be content creators. When we started it up, I was actually in another podcast called The Kingdom Cast, right? And that kicked off because I was sitting there going, I don't think there's really much in terms of UK content coming up, and I was listening to Session Blood quite a lot. I love what they did, but I kept just thinking, no one's doing anything in the UK. So I just spoke to one of my friends and did that. It kind of worked, but then I met up with Simon and Trip, and I wanted to continue to do stuff with them because they were very good players in the UK scene. And I suppose skirmish season was kicking off. So that's how we kind of started off there. It was there was enough to talk about for a bit, but I think at the very start you kind of want to set the ground of who you are, what because people have never heard you before, and I suppose we were trying to figure out what we wanted to kind of be, I suppose. And to me, I've done podcasts in other games before, and I remember thinking the first couple of episodes, you just want to get the audience, who's your target audience, and it was the UK guys, and it's just get them to know who you are really, and just and that's how we started off doing our first couple of episodes, is just to get the audience to know who we are, what we're into, who are the characters in this program that you're going to tune into every single time. You got the idiot, which is me. You got the organized guy, which is Simon, and then you got the wild card, which is Trip. And you just need to just be yourself, and then the audience will soon know who the people are when they're tuning in each time. And then the tournament's kicked in, and then that's when you started to add a bit more of a dynamic to the people you're listening to. So it turns out Simon's actually a good player, and so is Trip, and I was Mr. Ninth guy for the whole of the Road to Nationals season, and then I came top 8 in the Nationals. So now I'm the Viscerai guy. So it's I suppose really it's kind of like episodic really for the audience joining in, and I think that's pretty much how I view how the podcast works. Every time I'm listening back to the episode, what is the episode sort of delivering for the audience in a way? And for the long-standing guys, you're just seeing the 3 people you've known in just doing what they do. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question.
Well, I mean, just in case anybody isn't aware of the Push the Point podcast, what do you think is your niche? Like, what is the Push the Point podcast? Obviously, it's Flesh and Blood podcast, but what's your focus?
Oh man, beer. No, I think what's our focus again? We are a Flesh and Blood podcast that is dedicated to discussing the UK scene and other things that are happening around in the Flesh and Blood scene, in trying to angle it in many different ways, other than just specifically competitive stuff. It's not something we want to shy away from. It's something that we know, because we do, and all 3 of us are competitive players. But we know that there's other content creators, you guys, especially, that are doing that competitive stuff at a much more higher level than what we want to do. So we try and angle ourselves in different ways of we're getting stores involved, or we had a grading company involved. Just trying to angle different niches really, and just chilling and chatting with mates with a beer. That's that's it really. That's pretty much what the podcast is about. It's pretty chill.
Brews and bros and some chat, and it feels like it's pretty, just listening to your episodes, and it's pretty organic, right? And I think we're kind of similar in that way. Yeah. Probably you'd say like it's been an organic growth for you guys in terms of, you say, like Brendan was talking about the change from the skirmish season into your Road to National season, which I know you even did an episode from a store, right? Was it at a Road to Nationals that you guys did an episode? Was it for a skirmish?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, I think so.
Testing knowledge.
Well, yeah. Well, God. I know that the formula that we always do is that all 3 of us meet up on Discord, and then we have an interview section, right? And what that interview section will be is kind of just we kind of think up about a week or so before we're going to record. And I think Simon went over to an amazing store in the UK called Living Realms. And they had I think it was called like a Flesh and Blood festival on, which is not, it wasn't a skirmish thing. It was just like their own made thing. And Simon went there and brought, we were meant to buy some recording equipment, but we failed on that. So Simon just got his phone out and recorded all the people in the store and just tried to capture the store and what they were doing so we can put it to the episode. And yeah, it turned out pretty well, actually. We do that on different things. We also did a Push the Point live at Nationals as well, which was pretty wild. because it was basically the streaming service that Tabletop 24 did for Nationals. You know, if it wasn't for them, no one would know the controversy of how terrible the UK meta really is. And I'm only joking, but they let us do a push the point live. It was actually his idea, so we just jumped on and did this live, and I was like, oh my god, the power of editing is so strong.
you edit?
But yeah, we edit, right? No, it's all live, it's all natural.
So obviously one of the things is, I think, living in myself here in Australia, Brendan, I think this is maybe similar for you. Maybe you've had a slightly different experience because of the online events, but for me personally, I feel like I know nothing about, especially the UK scene, but even the European scene. I just feel like apart from what I've heard from yourselves, you know, you, Simon, and Trip, I don't really hear anything, you know, else. And I think this is a good opportunity. One of the things I want to talk about is I wanted to be educated about the UK scene. Like, tell us about, like, when did the UK pick up Flesh and Blood? What does it kind of look like? What's the level of competition? What's the kind of level of, like, are people more casual? Like, what does it kind of look like over there? I can see
you smirking, Brendan. What's the level of competition?
Haynes just gauging his worlds in 2022. He's like, anybody I should look out for? We need to break any kneecaps.
Yeah.
Why not?
No. So, to be honest, it's a pretty interesting question. I suppose really when when the majority of the world was kind of kicking in around about like September 2020, you were playing this game physically in Australia. Is that about right? Or were you guys in lockdown?
I think we'd just come out of lockdown. Yeah, so we're probably back playing some physical again. Yeah, September, October was like that was the 2.0 launch of Flesh and Blood, right? Back into the US, back into Europe, yeah, with Welcome to Wraith Unlimited.
So, Brendan, I think you probably might relate to this a little bit more, because this actually was something that we were talking about literally in our latest episode, about how it was kind of like our journey about when we first began. And for a lot of the scene, especially in Europe and America, there was a big online scene where people were just meeting up, just to play on webcam or TTS, in loads of different just sort of local stores. And I remember Simon and Trip were saying that when it very first started kicking off around here, people were meeting up on this Swedish armory event that happened like every week. And I
played a lot of them.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to see some of the similar faces as it progressed. And I think for New Zealand and Australia, it seemed like they were doing the standard, what should not naturally come about whenever you're doing a new game. You go to your store, you meet up with your friends, and you play the game, and your community grows in a local, more organic, physical space. But for Flesh and Blood, for everywhere else, it just seems like actually it was a very online an online space where that Swedish armory that kicked off every week. It was like, oh yeah, here's Dante, and here's Brendan, and here's Simon, and here's Trip, and it's just the same. Oh, it's the same faces you see online. So it was this weird experience where it was kind of flipped over, really, where the online scene was the thing that was helping to grow the local community, which the local community was a worldwide community, when New Zealand and Australia was just doing what should have happened. So yeah, the UK was kind of doing very similar trends to what America was kind of doing, where it was Discord and meeting up, and Skirmish Season 1 was kind of really the first sort of reps where names were being made, basically.
The game comes out. So you said September, October. UK's still pretty much in lockdown through that period, through Skirmish Season 1 as well, right?
We had a bit of a. I came in, I think, when the UK was I wasn't definitely one of the first, but when the scene started to commence, I know that me and Simon were quite early in, because there's a store in my end, luckily, was one of the very first stores in the UK to pick this up. So they were ordering stuff from New Zealand, and I think he even brought product from a guy in the UK who ordered a ton of Welcome to Wraith Alpha, which was just Welcome to Rafe at the time.
Yeah.
I know, no idea how much this stuff is worth. And then he just sold it to the store, and I think the store gave him like £1,000 store credit, and I think he gave him like a couple of cases. You know, mad times now, but at the time I was like, yeah, that seems fair enough. So our store was the first to get people in, and me and Simon and a couple of others were just playing Blitz and Draft around about October time. So that was kind of setting the scene. Locally, it seemed pretty small, as you would expect, and then we hit a massive, huge lockdown, and then it became, you know, online world and Skirmish Season 1 and all that jazz that we all know.
Yeah, and then since then, I guess since coming out of, you know, that big lockdown, and then I think that probably would have been around Skirmish Season 2, right? How has the game changed in the UK? Like, is it a lot of those players that were in the online community, but now you're starting to see, I guess, you know, paper growth as well? People come into stores, find the game, learn the game, and how is that? Is it exploding in the UK? Like, what's the kind of level of growth?
I think it is. It is growing relatively well since that time. Especially so when Monarch came out, we did see a huge growth of players. I mean, it's kind of difficult. I don't know how I can sort of properly know what the majority of the UK is doing. I know definitely what my area is doing, and I know that London just does very well, because it's London and it's just, you know, too many people in a very tiny space. So they tend to just grow bigger and faster than pretty much any other area in the UK. But you can tell when the game's relatively doing quite well, when a relatively smallish area in the UK like ours is doing quite well in terms of growth, when you're getting around about 16 to 18 people per week in the store coming in to play the game on average, you know, regularly on average. And yeah, it's those are the sort of signs that, you know, it's taken up pretty well. And then we had UK Games Expo, which is, if you've never heard of it, is a big, it's kind of like a mini Gen Con, right? Where Gen Con is the huge almighty convention of games across the world, and then, you know, you've also got there's one that's in Germany, but the UK has got their own. It's pretty decent, pretty big, and one of the stores in the UK spoke to LSS. Managed to get a load of welcome IRA decks, and they even kind of just took their product and, you know, put all of the front into advertising the game as much as they could. Awesome. And yeah, that was a huge boost. And there was basically a massively community-driven stuff. There was no, you know, the LSS, like I said, gave a load of welcome to the IRA decks over, and yeah, the whole UK community kind of banded together to produce, basically do what they can to make sure this store can promote and push this game as much as it can to the UK scene at the expo. And I was there, and I also helped out as well. It was a massive success. So I think it was like over 2,000 IRA decks that were handed out to people. Wow. There was just demos every day, and then I've done loads and loads of demos for different games in the past. For different teams, and it was not very often this happens, but when people are coming over to have a look at the game, and we've got a Blitz event on, and they're like, oh, that looks really cool, and I was like, here's an IRA deck, come back around about 1 o'clock, we're going to do some demos. And they went, yeah, that's cool. I've never had it where every single person that I spoke to and everyone else spoke to all come back at 1 o'clock to want to play this game. And there was a queue of people waiting to demo the game. And you just think, oh, this has turned out really well. And then some of them have even stuck, and they're in the Discord now. And we saw them come, you know, at Road to Nationals events. You know, it's great. You're like, oh crap, this is good. This is a really, really good sign that the game's taken on really well in the UK. And it's just been growing since.
That's awesome. It's such a good way to grow it as well with events like that. We don't really, I know on my side of the world, we don't really get that kind of same exposure, I think, to those kind of events. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then so you have your Road to National season. You said before, Mr. Ninth place. So I'm assuming you had a few ninth places. How many Road to Nationals did you play?
I shouldn't have took Bolton. That was I should have.
I was going to ask what you played.
You guys. Yeah, well, I was on the testing train with Bolton. And I agree, and I think you've seen some of the YouTube comments I've thrown in there where I'm in complete agreement with Brendan when Sabers Bolton is it's a
So
joke.
you were testing
Joke,
Sabers Bolton?
everyone.
I have
No,
no
of course
part
it
of
wasn't.
this.
I had a go. I'm not, and you can see what it can do, and you're like, yeah.
How many times do you smack your head against a wall?
What?
Yeah.
With sabers?
Yeah.
I'm just envisioning the testing process where you have like blinders on, and then you. No, I'm kidding.
I just sat there and just went, "This is trash." And I had it. So I was not. It's not complete trash, right? Azalea is the pinnacle of trash. Like Sabers Bolton is not that bad. It's all right, but it's not. It was not what I thought you could get the most out of Bolton. So I thought Raiden was the way to go, and it's chain meta, man.
I think
tough.
it was a pretty decent deck. There was a lot of hybrid decks in Monarch, and it actually performed well on the day.
It did all right. It did well. Just not with me. Came ninth.
but you came. So you came. You played a few road to nationals. I'm assuming you qualify on XP for nationals. And then, how do you make this decision to take Viserai? Because you know, people know you now as Mr. Viserai, as you said, someone who's taken a Viserai to a top 8 at UK nationals. How did that kind of come about that you swapped off the Bolton train?
Well, I explained this on my podcast, and I'll if you haven't listened, I'll break it down here. I love Viserai. Viserai is my main man. My go-to guy. It was the reason I wanted to pick up Flesh and Blood when I was looking at the heroes, thinking, where's your hook to get into the game? God, man, he's edgy as hell. I want to pick him up. So when Crude just came out, I've always, whenever, it's only 2 sets in, so I can't say always, but Monarch comes out, there's a Runeblade hero. I wasn't interested in Chain. I was interested in what the tech Viserai was going to get out of this. I'm like, okay, cool, let's have a look at the stuff, have a go. It's garbage, it doesn't work. Fair enough, put him in the bin. Tales of Aria comes out. Ooh, Creepers. Ooh, Rosetta. These are pretty good. So I just do what I do. I bring Viz out of the closet. I put him his new boots and his new weapon, and then I was like, oh, hey up. He's not that bad, actually, and people still think he's garbage. So I gave him a go. Turned out all right. I took it to the New Zealand testing group, which with Rohan and Jason Lyon, Aaron Curtis, Matt Clark, there's loads of others, and Tom Penny. And they were like, what is this? And I was like, let's have a go. And then they were like, oh, it's not that bad. And I was like, no. Then I just get going with him, and it was really good. It just turned out really well, and everyone was too busy running around dancing with Briar and Oldham and Lexi and Chain and everyone else, because the UK can't seem to get a handle on making new decks quick enough. There were, everyone wants a net deck, and I'm a deck creator, so he just went under the radar for everyone in nationals. And I loved it's that face when everyone looks at you and goes, Viserai? Like, yeah, no, oh no. I don't know what I'm going to do against this guy. And I was like, it's exactly what I want to hear. So here we go. And then when you see them do no blocks against Rivian Skies, you just go, I guess you don't want to win. Why would you not block that? So yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
that was my short story.
That's good.
Bolton into Viserai. No Chain, no Briar.
No.
Sounds like you're a bit of you'd be a Jimmy, right? You like to put up the
Jimmy.
Deck.
That's Brendan's version of Timmy.
Have you heard this? So it's like there's a Spike, and I think it's like the Jimmy. I don't know if it's Jimmy.
Timmy.
Something else. Timmy.
Timmy.
No, who's the brewer?
Johnny.
Who's Johnny?
Johnny's not the brewer. He's like it.
Which one's? Is it? Isn't there a Jike? Can I be a Jike? Can I be the Johnny Spike?
Brendan makes up whatever he wants, so you can feel free to make up whatever you like. It's fine.
No, so what a Jimmy
my
is?
friends call me the Joke.
Yeah, that'll be the Arsenal pass. Like brewer, kind of off meta deck, likes to bring something new. It sounds like what you like to do is you like to not play the most popular deck, bring something new, bring something people haven't seen before, surprise them a bit, and I don't know.
I think that's how you win. Right,
for sure. But it also sounds like your identity is kind of in being that player, right? Because like you're the Viserai player now. You're the guy who brought Viserai to UK Nationals. and I guess kind of put the deck on the map for that region, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's done. It did a huge job. I think I don't even think I even pushed Viscerai's potential because I think after when I did the UK Nats, and I was chatting with you, Hayden, about when you were preparing to go to a call in, and yeah, I think Matt Rogers, he brought the Viscerai deck that he brought along as well, and I think that was a far much more a much better version than what I came up with. Which I think is great. I love it. I love the fact that someone was able to even take the vision even further than what I thought the vision was. Do you know what I mean? And it turns out that, and this is the thing I suppose really whenever I'm making decks and doing stuff is that I feel like when I was doing it, I felt like, oh, what more can you do? What more can you do with Viscerai with this style of play? And then you're like, oh my god, yeah, why didn't I think of putting OTK, or I call it the spirit bomb because you don't actually OTK, you just make a load of rune chants and you decide when you're going to throw that big load of rune chants at someone and then go. I just didn't even think that was a possibility. So those sort of stuff really excite me. So yeah, in short, I suppose I like to figure out the puzzle, really. I don't know whether my puzzle's tier 1, but if I'm interested in something, I want to work out what's the maximum value I can get out of this. And I don't really want to know. I don't want to know what everyone else is doing. But and if everyone else is sitting there going, "Oh yeah, this guy's busted. This guy's really weird," and then I'm going, "Oh, well, he's solved, isn't it? Done." And now everyone's going to go and play him. So I want to work out what does he do, and then I see if I can figure out if there's a way, if I can find someone that can counter that, and no one will see this one coming.
You're speaking to me on a level now, Hamish. This is what I try and do. I say I try and do. I've had my dabble with Olivia. Actually, when I first started making content for Flesh and Blood, I just wrote about Viscerai. I used to write some articles.
Yeah, I know
wrote about Viscerai.
I listened to that episode. That episode when you did Viscerai for Session Blood. Session Blood. I was like, oh my god, this is me. This is my episode. And yeah, a lot of what you were talking about was my starting points on me picking up Viscerai for the first time, and I needed to get someone who understood this person, well at the time of crew. So I listened to that, and I was just like, oh my god, this guy is he's a genius. I never even thought of all this stuff, and then I've just been the thing is, I always pick maybe Viscerai is a really really weird hero just for me because I regularly played him knowing he was trash because I just was so adamant there's got to be something. He is so almost there. What is the answer? And I think I feel like I went through every single card that is available just to try 10 games. Let's put this card in. What happens? Rubbish. And when it got to the point where he got his creepers and he's got his Rosetta, I suppose really I went through the pain of losing 200 games with this guy to know what you just don't just ignore all this.
Yeah, you've already done that. Don't go there.
I've done the hard work. So maybe, and I think it was just timing, perfect timing. The stars aligned. He had the good stuff. I had the reps, and he's undervalued. So that's probably where, and a bit of luck. That's probably what got me my result in Nats.
Yeah.
And yeah, and people who don't know how to draft passed me some great cards.
Take them and run.
No, yeah, I will. I did.
I like that. I can relate to that. It's good. Now I'm just waiting for Livia to get something, and then I can. All that time I pumped into Livia will be worth something, right? So Everfest, please deliver. Please deliver to me.
I've already. It was funny enough, really. I had a chat with some of the guys, and I think Levia and I think Brute in general was missing a non-attack action card with an on-hit effect. Just something with a majestic trait that just does something if it hits. Just might be enough. Because
it's interesting because it's kind of against the
design of the class. Yeah,
class design.
It is. Right? Yeah, but it just
more about evasion and not on hit effects and raw damage. So
they don't have a lot, right? All they need is like one. And I made summing up, I don't know, if this attack hits, look at the top 3 cards of their deck and discard one of them. Call it headache, because they hit you so hard in the head. You had a move planned and it's gone. It's just been discarded. I don't know. And then that actually makes Intimidate go, oh, actually, this is this is going to suck. I don't know. Because other than that, these brute classes do have a bit of a rough time of, no one cares. Unless it's Blood Rush Bellow, no one really that bothered. It is a lot of damage, but,
Brutal Shine. Once the mid-range decks and the control decks show up, it's Rhinos time. I'm just waiting.
Viscerai might suck. No, actually, no, Brute's not very good for Viscerai. Because I kept saying the thing, I'll just make loads of rune charms, and Brute's like, great, I'll just intimidate your hand. It's like, no, I don't want you. Don't do that.
I wanted to ask you about Everfest while we're talking about, I guess the future of what classes might get. Do you have any predictions for Everfest or anything that you want to see? Me and Brendan, we've talked about this a lot over the past few episodes of Time in the Round with our guests, and now, Hamish, it's your turn to tell us what you think.
I think Runeblade's still going to be good.
We'll get a new one. We're gonna get a new Runeblade.
We're gonna get a new one.
Oh my god, it's gonna be so much.
We definitely need a unique Runeblade young hero, because we just don't have one.
Something that just auto wins the game. Like that's just Runeblade dominance.
It needs to do the one thing that these Briar and Chain does. It needs to have the ability to give an attack go again. And because that'd
be nice, especially if it's on demand on the card,
just free. Hero should just be free this time,
for
right?
free. Yeah, I think absolutely. Just go if you swing with your weapon, you get go again, and your attack costs 0 because you can banish a card. I don't know.
Sounds good.
There is. I'm not going to lie. There are the two new room. The Chain and Briar are a bit. They're. I can understand the absolute frustration that the community gets from the heroes, right? And it sucks that that Viscerai gets thrown into the Runeblade bus because Runeblades, another one. I'm like, yeah, but he doesn't count, right? Viscerai's cool. Everyone knows Viscerai's cool.
He's the hit Runeblade.
But yeah, he's the hit Runeblade. In fact, he's actually better than the other two, and people don't know it yet, right? But I'm looking forward to seeing some stuff that's going to make Viscerai, pretty good. I'd love to see that. I want to see some stuff that makes Bolton pretty interesting, and so is Rhinar, because I have these 3 heroes that I like, and any more tools that can give the guys that I've been collecting, go really well, then that'll be cool. Probably won't happen. Probably be some crazy busted stuff for a Runeblade hero. Who knows? To be honest with you, I reckon Guardian will get some more cracking stuff, because I don't think anyone realizes that Guardian's been getting stuff since the day they've been released. And they just keep handing them this crazy stuff, and that's why they're always still up there. And they're probably going to have another crazy thing that's pretty good, and they're still going to just be up there. And maybe that's about it. I don't really know. It's very hard to tell with this set, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, all we know so far is we have a hero spoiled, right? We have a young hero.
21 health. It's OP.
Yeah. Don't read the text box. That's okay.
Yeah.
No.
But that card too, Life of the Party. I don't know if that was always. I wonder if that was actually a card that was designed at the game's inception, right? When Crazy Brew was designed. No, I actually don't think so. Which is interesting, because I think a lot of these cards that have come out throughout the lifetime of Flesh and Blood were actually designed maybe before Welcome to Wraith, or probably before Welcome to Wraith. I think Life of the Party is like a great card, because I've been waiting for Crazy Brew to be playable for so long, because it's such a cool card. Like, I love it.
The thing is, people are obviously going to look at these cards straight up and go, right, can that be competitively viable? And the answer is, well, probably not, no. But does that take away the fact that, it's going to be a lot of fun to use in some sort of wacky community-made format? You could probably just have a party, a party deck, right? Where you got Coax the Commotion and Life of the Party and Crazy Brews, and say, some guy's going to come up with some really, really cool, flavorful deck. And this is, and when you got cards like that, it makes the game a lot more interesting in different ways.
Yeah. Well, Like me and Brendan have said a lot. We're big fans of these supplemental sets. Crucible's probably both our favorite set, I think, in terms of just the cards that are in it and the depth and the story that it tells. Just it weaves a lot of different parts of Flesh and Blood together, I think. And Everfest looks like it's going to do the same thing in a very sort of light and potentially, a bit more lighthearted way.
I agree. There was one thing I would say that I wish LSS did more of that they did with Crucible. And maybe because it's Viserai, I sound like I'm a Viserai nuthead, but I'm not. But they did a really, really, really cool story with him. They actually had, and they went through this massive journey. And then when the set came out, they had all the cards that kind of felt like they could correlate with with him. And I was like, oh, dude, this is sick. This is like some of the, this is when I first started. I was seeing all these stories just pop up, and I feel like there's been less and less of these, these little backstories about with these different heroes.
Stories on the website.
Yeah. They just seem to have just toned down a bit. I want to see. I really want to see them come back because I think they did a huge number on people's engagement. There's so many different people in the market. It's not just competitive and here we go. Some people want to know the fluff and the lore to these guys. So I think also a lot of people are looking at Everfest going, what is this?
What is it? Yeah.
Well, how does this Crucible War made a bit of sense. It was like, everyone's starting to get together and brawl, and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool.
What's Reinhardt doing at Everfest?
Yeah, what's going on? Why is Monarch and Tales of Aria have a bit of a link in? But how does Everfest sort of tie all this together? And I suppose the website stories was going to help us get into the feel of what this is all about. And I haven't really seen much apart from dates, so I don't know what's apart from a tent and a pisser. That's about as much as we know about Everfest.
I agree, but give me a tent and a piss up, and we're good to go. It's all right.
Yeah, I'm sure. It'll all come flooding out after Christmas. I'm sure.
I do agree. I think Monarch had it to a degree as well, but primarily for Livia and Chain, not really as much for I feel like I know nothing about Prism, but I feel like I know quite a bit about Livia. So
yeah, they had a follow-up story, didn't they? They did have a big. But they did the two Prism and Bolton did have a. Yeah, they did actually have a story. It was pretty bland because they just went, "Oh, we're going to be mighty and take on evil," and it was like, "Yeah, that's just cool, fair enough." But the heroes, you want to know, why are you guys scumbags? That's always more interesting about how a person becomes a scumbag rather than everyone's born and pretty good, right? So when you go, well, I'm going to remain good, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess you just didn't, that's all good, fair enough. You didn't get angry, but yeah, Levia and Chain, you want to know the story about why they're scumbags, and that's probably why it engaged a lot more people more. Yeah. Plus Levia's was gruesome, man. That was really, really, really gruesome stuff. I think Chains was pretty boring, but Levia's was probably definitely the more interesting hero in terms of story. Yeah, and Tales of Aria, I think theirs was like even a bite-sized version of that.
Yeah, it really dropped off. I agree.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway,
love to see it come back. Well, speaking of Everfest, and I guess like being a kind of a festival-like party, it's the holiday season, and actually this episode's coming out on 23rd or 24th, depending on which time zone you're in. So
yeah,
I got a bit of trivia for Hamish and Brendan here.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
yeah, it's pretty bad. They're pretty hard. I already looked at the questions.
What you were meant to look at questions? Well, he's got an unfair advantage.
No, I didn't have time.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's how we win. Brendan got the reps in early before.
He takes any edge you can get. All right, so a few questions, and you can if you're watching, listening, whatever you're on, you can play along with your answers. All right, so our first question, just a few questions. They're fab related.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, they're not like what's the Grinch's first name? You're okay. So how many pieces of equipment in Flesh and Blood have flavor text?
Wow.
I'll start with an easy one.
What? Well, okay, it's all down to text. Christ.
There's a lot of equipment in Flesh and Blood now.
Oh, what? There's so many generic ones that you just whatever. How am I gonna know all these?
You just have a guess then. That's all right, Hamish. Your first guess was great.
Yeah, my first guess was all right. I was pretty. Is there any?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Oh,
Best,
all right.
best
I'm gonna go with.
choices.
I'm gonna go with.
Or is he just trying to throw you off, Hamish? You got to be careful, you know.
I'm gonna go with 10.
That's pretty close.
All right, what is it, Brendan?
I'm gonna go with 10.
13.
Ooh, it's 0. Hamish, you always had it. No equipment in Flesh and Blood have flavor text.
I blame Brendan.
Yeah, he threw you off.
I sat there and thought, there is none. And he went, oh, there's definitely some. There's definitely some. There's got to be 10. And there's none. I knew it.
It's none. A lot of reminder text. No flavor
I'm not
text,
listening
though.
to you anymore, Brendan.
Yeah. There we go. So I'm scoring at 1 apiece because Brendan had the names for the first one and Hamish had the number first guess, but 0 points each for that one.
One on.
All right. Here's some. I'm gonna read you some flavor text. I want to know what the card is. All right. This flavor text is memories fade, but their name remains. What's the card? Memories fade, but their name remains.
What about isn't it Memorial Ground?
Oh, he's got it.
That one. Yeah, it's Memorial Ground.
Memorial Ground. Nailed it.
Because I remember reading that and going, well, the flavor text is good. Card sucks though.
All right, you're buzzing. You have to beat this one, Brendan. Come on, you've got to get up on this one. Please, you could never have unlocked its true power. Linear mistress of melody.
Enchanting melody.
No.
Oh.
What was it again?
Please, you could never have unlocked its true power. Linear mistress of melody. You know, so it's a quote and then
linear.
Linear mistress of melody.
Mistress of melody. Melody sounds like a Tales of Aria sort of thing. I had Prism.
It's a wizard card. I'll give you that.
It's a wizard card.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the time?
From Varathio.
What?
Time of no, I don't know.
Time of Etherwind.
I've not seen enough. I've not seen enough wizard cards because I didn't partake in a hell of a lot of Blitz.
Yeah, I thought Brendan might be able to get this one. Self-proclaims, Kano Fiend.
Oh,
all right. No one's got it. It's Rousing Ether.
Rousing Ether.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, "What's that card do?"
It's like, that's
no, I'm garbage with I'm garbage with names. I just look at it. If it's that big dragon card.
Here's a good subtest. What does Rousing Aether do, Hamish?
Rousing Aether. Is it the one with the woman on it? Maybe. And then if it does arcane damage, the next one does X amount of arcane damage. If however much arcane damage you do.
Close, but no.
No. Oh.
Basically, well, kind of. It deals 1 arcane damage, right? Extra to the next, and it deals 2.
He's thinking of Aether Flare for sure.
Yeah. Which
Aether Flare. Yeah. Okay, there you go. All right,
Aether Flare. Oh, whatever.
Got one last card flavor text for you guys. Perhaps my favorite. Sometimes you got to roll with the punches.
Beep beep. That's my buzzer. Is it Scabskin Levers? Not Scabskin Levers. No, it's Gambler's Gloves.
No, equipment doesn't have flavor text, remember?
I thought 10 of them did. No.
13.
13, sorry. You got to roll with the punches.
Is that a Guardian card?
No, you got to... I don't know why I'm sitting there thinking I know this.
It's definitely a brute card.
Is it a Guardian?
Oh, Blood Rush... No, it's not Blood Rush Bellow. No. Is it Blood Rush Bellow?
I wonder how quickly if people are playing along at home, I wonder how quickly they're getting these, and either they're struggling as well, and I look like, There's
some really angry people, I'm sure, sitting there just going, what the hell?
Shouting at you,
yeah. Yeah, it's all right, you give me the clue, it was a brute card, I'm just going to roll with Blood Rush Bellow just to, but I don't think it's the actual
I'm just going to give you some clues until someone gets it. It's a 1 cost.
What's Blood Rush Bellow?
Yeah, it's Yellow Pitch also, but it's not Blood Rush Bellow.
It's Blood Rush Bellow.
Wait, it's a Yellow Pitch only?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, whoa. Yellow Pitch only? Okay, that limits it down to quite a few. Sometimes you got to roll with the punches.
The super.
Oh wait, no, dude, it's a brute card now.
Now people are yelling at you.
Card.
Is it a brute card?
It's a brute card.
Is it
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh no, dude, it's it's the heck. What's the one? What's the heck? What's the one? What's it called?
It's what everyone's shouting at you right now.
It's a deep roll of D6. It prevents that much damage.
Bonehead
barrier.
Yeah, there you go. Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
Sometimes you got to roll with the punches. That's me. I'm a bonehead barrier.
All right.
Oh,
Quick fire. Can anyone name the last card alphabetically in Flesh and Blood? Currently printed.
Oh, dude, isn't it? It's not Whispers of the Oracle, is it? No. Oh, wait, no, there's Zap.
There is Zap, but it's not Zap.
What? It's not Zap.
Zap is the second.
What?
Is
It's from
Zap-
Arcane Rising. It's an attack action.
Oh, man. What?
Is it a common?
It's a common. It's a mechanologist card.
Oh, that's gonna be a weird one.
Oh, yeah, but if it's a common mechanologist card, it's probably trash. No one even knows it exists.
It's definitely not
Is it-
trash.
Is it
Definitely
an item?
not trash.
No, it's an attack action.
Oh, okay.
What?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm enjoying
This
this.
is
Cost
no,
one.
this is right. I'm on my computer. The temptation to just not be Fam TV is strong.
So there's actually there's two that come after Zap that are mechanologist commons. One costs 0 and one costs 1. Zero is a hint for one of them.
0 to 60, right?
It's one of them, but there's one after that alphabetically.
Damn. 0 to 60s. Zipper hit? No.
That's it. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Zipper hit. Oh.
Hamish just got it.
How did it take me so long? Zipper hit. Yeah, that card's not trash. That card is
I was gonna
pretty
say,
good.
for the record, that card is trash.
Don't put it in your
You heard it
deck.
here first.
Yeah, don't put it in
No,
your
no,
deck.
don't put it. Yeah, don't put it in your deck, man. That's not good. Not good. Especially the blue ones. They're rubbish.
All right. And the final question is, Hamish, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
Oh. The Grinch
Grinch.
with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
I really like that one. It's got a heck of a lot of classic stuff, and one of my favorites is when he turns around and sees his parents and just goes, "Are you still living?" It's a quote nobody pays attention to much. It's my favorite line ever. Oh yeah, and when they're feeding him loads of stuff, and the guy just goes, "This is not for eating."
I feel like you've seen this a lot of times.
Yeah, I have.
Brendan, do you have a favorite Christmas movie?
Is it Die Hard?
Yeah, I don't, but my family would always watch the Polar Express.
Oh,
No,
interesting.
but what's your favourite?
Yeah, so Brendan's got the wrong answer and Hamish has the right answer. There you go.
Yeah,
So-
what you just basically said. I can tell you what my family's favourite is. What's your favourite?
I don't think I've watched a Christmas movie in like
What? Of course
15
you bloody
years.
have.
No,
Yeah,
seriously.
You've not watched a Christmas film.
So, Hamish, this was kind of a stitch up because I knew that Brendan's probably wouldn't have an answer. I just thought it would be funny though.
What do you just watch? Like,
Hayden knows that I have no personality, so
Come on, you gotta. What do you watch? Do you watch anything?
no.
What? What do you do? Do you have Christmas?
We just sit around and be
Are
angry.
you a Jehovah's Witness in secret? You're like, oh, this is blasphemous. All of this.
Just packing my stocking full of coal.
Well, on
Well,
that,
Hayden, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Hayden, you're the question master. What about you?
yeah, so I don't have to answer, right?
Oh, true.
Well, I think my favorite Christmas movie is probably Iron Man 3.
Iron Man
It's not
3.
That's not even a Christmas
It
film.
definitely is.
Really?
But anyway,
I don't. Anyway,
on that bombshell.
Iron Man 3's a Christmas film.
Yeah, everyone's gonna go and
That's-
check it out now, and in the comments, people are gonna tell me either I'm right or wrong. So it's fine. But you
Yeah.
know, Hamish, a big thank you for coming on and joining us. And obviously, we talked some flesh and blood. We talked some kind of flesh and blood, and we talked some not flesh and blood. And before we go, I want to give you an opportunity to plug your podcast, Push the Point, and anything else that you're doing, social media, etc. Go wild.
Thank you so much. So Push the Point, we're on YouTube, Spotify, and all good podcast stations that you can listen to. We are a UK-based podcast talking about Flesh and Blood and any other just general chit-chat when we're not playing an awful lot of Flesh and Blood, which we are always doing because we love the game so much. We've got some plans to do some more content over the ProQuest season. We've just done some deck tech videos over our Nationals performance, which I highly recommend checking that out. And yeah, just stay tuned, really, because we're always trying to find new and different things to provide to our audience. Yeah, there you go. Hope you enjoy it. Give us a sub. We've also got a Patreon as well, just so if you want to jump in on that. And yeah, you can hopefully win an awesome Push the Point hat because everybody wants a hat. I'm wearing the hat, but I'm doing a terrible job of marketing it. But there you go, because I'm wearing it the wrong way around. Thank you.
Great.
So we're jumping in on the market manipulation. Scarcity, because we're only going to print 10 of these hats. Well, we've already printed 10, and we're not going to print any more of these Black Peak caps. So if you want to get in and get yourself a limited cold foil hat, become a patron and you can probably win one.
There's less Push the Point hats than there are, Heart of
Gold foils.
Females. So there you go. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So, well, on that note, Brendan, until next time, that's active player turn 0, one additional turn. This time in the round.
I can see you reading out.
Yeah, well, you usually say it. I don't say it.